Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Which Colleges Are Best for B Students, your ultimate guide. I am your host, Dr. Cynthia Colon. If you are new, you're a rock star. And so thanks for being here and spending some time and putting your child's future, first, making the time. So I appreciate you. And, we're going to get started here. I'll share a little bit about my background along the way. So if you're looking to help your child have choices, which for me, that is the main purpose of going through the college admission process. Ultimately, your job as parents is to make sure they have choices by the end of the time that they've applied, by the end of senior year, right? Here's myself and my parents on graduation day. My dream college was USC years and years ago, before UC, University of Southern California, before USC was, as top rated as it is now, admitting about 10% or under. But that was my dream. And so my mom really had the vision to ask for help because she didn't know how to help me. And so you are doing much the same today by being here and helping your child. So bravo to you. So you're in the right place. A little bit about my background. After USC, I was encouraged by mentors while at USC to go on. I mean, they saw something in me. I was very much a leader at USC in the residential halls and did a number of things to raise in the ranks and leadership at USC, which is not easy to do for such a big school. But I was encouraged to go on and get my master's degree, which I did at Teachers College at Columbia. I worked at Barnard College as my internship, and then this school here to my right is Vassar College. Now, I didn't know of the 7 sister schools before getting to Barnard, much less Vassar. But at Vassar, I became obsessed with the college admission process. I worked in college admissions, and I noticed the discrepancies of the resources available to public schools and private schools. But I also became really aware of the private independent world. And honestly, I kind of paid attention to what those schools were doing when I would visit those campuses to recruit for Vassar. Later, much later, I went on. This here's my second book, sort of like the second edition of the first book of the first, but it's Be Committed, Get Admitted. And so I've been able to have a lot of fun sharing the knowledge that I learned originally from Vassar and then passing that on and just having the system that I use really work. So in this presentation, I'm really going to talk about sort of the B+ student in terms of like most students don't know, most students, whether they're B or A students, truth be told, they just don't know how to sell themselves in a way that gets them noticed in terms of the application process. So with just a few tweaks and a few things that you'll probably just pick up today, you'll be able to see just how a few little things can really make all the difference. So that's my hope today. When I arrived at Marymount, after working at Vassar, truth be told, I didn't enjoy denying more students than we were admitting. And so I started searching and I wanted to get back to California. And so there were a number of positions open the year I was looking, and I happened to land at Marymount High School. It's an all-girls school here on the backside of UCLA in Bel Air. And, it's a well-resourced school. It's a private independent school. But when I arrived, I was, just given the mandate of like, grow this college thing. All the parents at a place like Marymount really expect that all the girls are going to go to top colleges. And so we had to create a plan and started using the strategies, and they worked pretty quickly, which we had really great success right away. Because of that success, many families started calling me and asking me to work with their students privately, students that attended other public and private schools. And, soon after that, after I kept using the formula, I finally wrote the first book, which is here, Tips, Tales, and Truths for Teens. You can still get it on Amazon. It's very similar to the newer one. The newer one just has the newer stories, I guess, so to speak, newer success stories. These are some of the first success stories between sort of my time at Marymount and then going off onto my own. Many of our students that I worked with, I tended to attract students from Catholic schools, maybe some of their brothers and sisters that attended public schools, but this was some of the early success. This is like what I realized. I'm like, these are not superhuman students. They're just like ordinary students who put in extraordinary efforts and follow a system or guidance. In other words, you're coachable. And so if you're coachable, like anything is possible, I believe, right? So again, I just continued my journey of really just delivering information to as many people as possible. So I do have a podcast, Destination University. If you have not checked it out, it's a great resource, a free resource, lots of good information there. We have not started our season 10, but we're going to kick it off pretty soon. So there you go. And I do have a TEDx talk, so you can look that up on YouTube and find it. It's called College Admissions is Not Fair. So I share this here because this is a student who we started working with when she was a sophomore, late sophomore year, I should say. She's from Chicago, Illinois, and she just kind of chipped away at our Ivy success formula and was later admitted to Princeton. Again, I share this here. I know it's a B student workshop, but even for I bet you all can name a 4.5, a 4.3 student who did not get admitted somewhere that you thought would have been like otherwise, like, of course, why didn't they? So it doesn't matter what grade level or what GPA you have. The truth is the pool, wherever you are applying to, they're all going to be very similar. So it's not easy to just say, okay, it's a shoo-in. It's not a shoo-in anymore. If you're Gen X, holler, put a type of 1. I'm a Gen X, like you rolled out of bed, right? And to apply to like 5 schools and called it a day. Here's a little bit of our success. We do believe a lot in group coaching as well as one-on-one coaching. When paired together, we believe that has the greatest success. So here are some of our campers and some of our camps that we do in the summertime. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to show you 6. These are real students that we worked with in the past, but it's true. It's true for any year. We're always working with a range of students. So take a peek at what I say here, because I'll ask you to type into the chat which one you identify with most. So this is strong curriculum, but weak grades. Okay, so our B students sort of have a range. So just pay attention to the different categories here. Then you might have strong grades, but a weak curriculum. And I say you, I mean you're a child, of course. Okay, nearly all A's, but few honors, no APs. Strong involvement, but weak curriculum, like, leadership and stuff on campus, right? Being very active. Maybe you have a solid curriculum and grades, but just they're not super strong. So this is a great example. This is Savannah, 7 honors, 2 APs, but mostly B's. So really solid curriculum, really strong student. Perfect. There's nothing wrong with her. Strong resume and weak transcript. Okay. This is, I always feel like this is our greatest challenge. Okay. And then there's this, the all-around strong student, but not likely to stand out. This is usually the most frustrating for a parent, because your kid is good, but they're like not the top. So yeah, you're going to find out what happened to Lexi. This is Lexi. Okay, so go ahead and type into the chat which one is resonating with you right now, as far as your son or daughter. And what happens here stays here. It's all in the family. It's all for the good of making sure that I know how to help you today. Okay, so I just give you a second. Let me see what's in there. 1, a lot of 1s. Oh, wait, maybe that's from, okay, I'll give you a second. Okay, so can you see that? Number 6, all around strong, but not stand out. Yep. Oh, hi, Jill. Yeah, Caroline, I'm not surprised that, yeah, makes sense for your son when we talked. Okay, Stacy says number 3, strong involvement with curriculum. Okay. All right, good. Okay, so, all right, fantastic. All right, let's go through these. And let's see. Okay. All right, so in the slides that come next, you're going to see like a number at the bottom. That just refers to the podcast number. So if you wanted to listen or watch, we have them on YouTube as well, most of them. You can see them on YouTube, or you can look for them on the podcast. Okay, so here is Diego. He built a solid list of colleges. He set up interviews he had meet and greets well before he even turning in an application. He developed a YD, so he had one D and actually a couple of C's on his transcript. So he really developed, like, he figured out, like, what am I going to say about this? You have to address the elephant in the room, right? Okay. Here's Ethan, and he decided really carefully on, like, what his major was. Looking at his transcript, he said, "Okay, where am I strong? Where are my strongest grades?" And so he sort of started to develop a story around there. And he had a grandfather who was very active in his community, in the grandfather's community, and therefore in Ethan's community. So he kind of wrote so to sort of stay in that theme for activism, community, giving back, and wanting to go into possibly politics later. He's now applying to law school. You guys, so excited to talk to his mom recently. We keep in touch with our kiddos because we love them. Here is Stephen. And so he built a strong list of colleges. He was really honest. So he has learning differences, and he was honest about that. He capitalized on his strengths. He loved business and he loved sports. And he was also a big Boston Red Sox fan. So he kind of just like merged all those things and really capitalized on, leaned in on what his strengths were and what he brought to the table. Here's Savannah. She built a strong list of colleges, but also specific to her, she leaned in on what she was good at. And she had this great experience, this like police explore program that she had done. And so she leaned into wanting to be into criminal justice, and her essays tied into all of that. She was really looking also for scholarship dollars. So all of the essays that she wrote in essay camp, not all of them, there's different, but there were a couple of them that were really going to be perfect for her with her applications for scholarships as well. This is Bonnie. She built a solid list of colleges. She spent hours getting organized and doing her research on colleges. She had auditions. Her strength was her talent. She knew, she was very aware of where her weaknesses were, in terms of academics. And so she was going to lean in on all of her leadership on campus. She was a strong leader, and she was also leaning in on where can I audition, which will help me help balance out possibly, getting a second look from the admission office and getting a yes. So she really worked hard to connect the dots. She's one of the students that I've ever seen work so hard. This is Lexi. Also a list of really great dream colleges. Like she was really going for, like, she was looking wide, and she was one that understood that there's more than just like the 30 colleges that we can all name, that there was a wider group of colleges. So she really used that. She applied for some community-based organizations like Posse and Questbridge, that she was hoping for that to work out. So she leaned in on that. That was a little bit of help. But her strengths were that she was she was into STEM, and she really grew the nursing club, which I'll show you in a second. Okay. So what happened to these students? So I'll give you I'll just tell you. So this is Diego. And remember, he had a D, on at least one D. I think he had one D and two or three C's. Okay. So he ended up at UC Riverside, which, if you're from California, you know that any of the UCs, they're the best public system in the country, probably in the world. So to get admitted to any one of them, that was a big win for him. Ethan was someone who he had a weak transcript, but he developed a really strong story. And so the mom, like I said, I keep in touch with them. I mean, we were all over the moon when he got into UC San Diego. I mean, that was a huge win. So for all of us, when we work with students, it's really like, how can we help you get admitted to something just above what I call like just above your pay grade, like just where you'll be surprised. So that was a big surprise. Here's Steve, and he was admitted to Babson. He leaned in. I think I might have dropped a hint. He leaned in on being a Boston Red Sox fan, blending sports and business together, and Babson was a really, really great fit for him. So he's graduating. These are all students that they graduated. Are all graduating this year? Yeah, I think they're all graduating this year. Here's Savannah. So I'm not sure if you've been noticing the amount of scholarship dollars that are earned. So with Savannah, she was not UC eligible. I'll just put that out there. This is nothing that I'm not, it's nothing that I'm saying that you probably wouldn't find on the podcast that we did with her, and I think her mom popped in at the end. I mean, this young woman produced 8 essays in 5 days in our essay camp. She worked extremely hard to really hone her story, and she became one of 2 students to earn a full scholarship at Azusa Pacific University. So she was admitted to other colleges, but she ended up choosing APU because she had to apply and she had to interview. It was like a whole half day of interviewing. It was a lot. But because she knew her story so well, that's what did it. I mean, her mom talks about that at the very end of the podcast. Here's Bonnie. Bonnie was on a fast track. Bonnie's already graduated. She graduated early, but she went to Rutgers, their performing arts school, and she was over the moon. It was her dream for her. So again, Bonnie, I can't even begin to explain how organized she was with her spreadsheet. In many ways, I sort of use that. I still her spreadsheet for other students as well. So she got organized. She really paid attention to her auditions. And really put in her efforts in places that she had control over. And here's Lexi. So Lexi did not win the Posse or Questridge Award, but she did because of it, because of having gone through those programs. She learned of Kalamazoo, and they flew her out, and they practically gave her a full scholarship, even though she didn't become an absolute. She was a finalist or semi-finalist. But she will be graduating from Kalamazoo, or as her mom says, I talked to her mom the other day too, the zoo, as they call it. So these are like, for me, like these are all great wins. Like if you can be a solid B+ student and win the day in merit, like plenty of colleges, you guys, that are looking for you. I promise you. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time just explaining to you what we do, and then I'll share with you some of my favorites of colleges that we would like to refer. Okay, and I have it for you. You can just have it. I can give you the PDF. So here's the thing: we call it our Ivy success formula. It doesn't mean that it's just for Ivy League students. It means that this is our formula that we use. I've been using since well the early 2000s, you guys. Yeah, I know. I've just dated myself. Sorry. So step 1 of the Ivy success formula is assessing where applicants are and where they fall on the leadership hierarchy. What does that mean? This is the leadership hierarchy. So if you've heard me talk about it, or I'll give you a YouTube link. Stephanie, I'm not sure if you have that link. But anyway, here's the level. So level 1, school involvement, 95 to 98%. That's just being involved in a club or sport, etc. School leadership, that will bring us to about 15% of the pool. Those are our selected or elected leaders on campus, like team captains, editors in chief, student body presidents, class presidents, right? So imagine there are really only one ASB president, 1 team captain. So there's only just so few spots for every high school. So that's why from like 95%, it goes like all the way down to 15% of the pool. Level 3 is coolness factor, which is what I've learned, because I know people always say, do you have to do a passion project? So a passion project is what we call your coolness factor. It's doing something that you love, whether you're learning 3 languages, you have a part-time job, all things about, all facts about baseball, and all a spring training schedule, and so anything that you're doing to improve yourself. That would be a coolness factor. One of our VIP clients, he just signed up last week. I met him last night, and he's a magician. Like he's a youngest magician to perform at the Magic Castle here in Los Angeles. So that's very cool. I mean, that's super cool. And you'd think, oh my gosh, like that's like top. Well, that still would fall under 3, because it's something he's doing for himself and improving, which is great. But he did a TEDx talk. So a TEDx talk would actually put him at the top, which would be the intellectual curiosity. So anyway, I digress. Coolness factor is about 10%. Impact project is about 5%. So the difference there would be, think Girl Scout Gold Award. To get the Gold Award, you have 3 criteria. You have to solve a problem for a community you're passionate about for 80 hours or more. Okay. So, for example, Sienna, several years ago, she thought she wanted to be a pediatrician. She loved kids, and she also liked to sew and knit and things like that. We found her, we placed her with an organization called Beads of Courage. And she set out a goal to sew 100 bead bags where kids with cancer put in their milestone beads in there. So she picks the fabric, she sews the thing, and she puts a personal note. And she made 100 of them. That took her well over 80 hours to do. That's an impact project. That's not just a passion project you did for yourself, but you're doing it for an impact of another community. So this is step one, is we assess where you are. And depending on what your goals are, we make a suggestion. Everybody that we work with minimally gets to level 3. And I would say for our B plus students, if they're fine with that, like that's where you should hit. That's like a passion project. But honestly, most of our students that we work with, we really encourage them to get to level 4. It just raises like the chances. Step 2 is to write the core 4 signature essays. So what most people do is spend like 90% of their time really honing in on their one personal statement, because and I get it. Like it seems like, oh, that's the main one, and it's 650 words. And so, you get everything online and you start to do some research, or you ask a teacher or whatever, and students will spend 90% of their time on that one essay. And that's a fatal mistake these days, because again, if you're like me and you're Gen X, that's all you needed. But today you need our students report needing to have anywhere from 18 to 48 essays by the time they apply to 12 to 18 colleges. Why? Because it's not just the personal statement, but it's all of the supplementals. So this is what we follow in our essay boot camps in the summer. We say you've got to craft and craft these 4 core essays. These are your signature essays. You've got to answer, who am I? What am I good at? What's something cool about me? And why this major? If you can craft these 4 essays, then you're going to be in really good shape to use. One of them will emerge as the personal statement, and then the other 3 you'll be able to use over and over again with supplementals. Now, those that work with us as elite clients or VIP clients, we do go on and we probably have them craft another 2 to 3 types, like community diversity essay, the Why Us essay. There are a couple of things that they'll need even beyond. So a cadre of 4 to 8 essays should do it. But please do not try to write 48 different essays. That's a fatal mistake. Ivy Success Formula step number 3 is to curate the right list of colleges and a bulletproof strategic application. Many people make the mistake that this is all about having an application strategy, meaning a timeline and like making sure you're going to get things done on time, right? Having an application strategy. But the truth is, what you need is a strategic application and a strategic list of colleges. There are 100, actually, I think there's now creeping up to a little bit more than 100 schools that admit under 30%. So that's what we always talk about in terms of like the top 100 colleges, or the most selective colleges in the country are admitting under 30%. So most of us can just name about 30, but there's such a wide range. So believe you me, there's probably a school or 2 or 5 on that list that could work for your child. So you just got to be really strategic and know where to find the right data. I'm going to just go through and give you some examples of other students. You met those 6 students, and here's Ethan again, but here's Kenzie. Kenzie's from Rhode Island, and you can see, where she got admitted. She took our courses and crafted her signature, 4 essays, and really crafted a story that made her bulletproof. Here's Riley. He's from Colorado. Anna Yancey from Northern California. Again, these are great. All of these students are perfect and solid, and there's nothing wrong with their application or their transcript. But when you are a solid B plus student, you can imagine this is actually usually the students I worry the most about, because there's so many colleges you could apply to, and everyone is going to look very much like you, right? I mean, it's pretty much the same. So it's like, how do you stand out in that crowd? Well, what you do is you take who you are and the transcript that you can't change anyway, but you try to like mirror what some of the students who are applying to Ivy level institutions in terms of your higher leadership hierarchy. So if you take your leadership hierarchy and you mesh it with your BE transcript, a lot of magic can happen. Here's Gracie from Florida. Her brother just signed up to work with us in our new cohort. He's now a junior. And here's Lara from New York. So again, I didn't even realize they have like the similar senior outfit. So there you go. They don't even know each other. Okay. Marist College is one of my favorite colleges, by the way. I'm not sure if it's on the list that I will give you today, but Marist is in Poughkeepsie, New York, where Vassar College is, and it sits on the Hudson River. It's just one of my favorites, just because, like, who doesn't want to wake up to that view? I mean, it's amazing. So I believe that's where Laura ended up attending, and Grace is graduating this year. She is at, FSU, Florida State. That's what I thought. And then here's Jeffrey and Lauren. I wanted to point these two students out. Jeffrey is from Maryland, but he really wanted STEM. So I would say Jeffrey probably fell into the category similar to Lexi, like strong, but wasn't going to necessarily stand out. Wow. I mean, Jeffrey's essays are some of the ones I still remember to this day. I remember 2 of his 4 essays. One of them, he's a swimmer, was all about how he shaved his entire body to shave off time, pun intended, and like being in the bathroom and all of that hair going into the bathtub, like that image, like I still can see that image of that essay. It was a great essay. So that's Jeffrey, and he got a lot of merit money along the way, so he's super happy. And then Lauren did this impact project. She was definitely level 4 on the leadership hierarchy, and she attended a high school that's very well known. Everybody in her high school is kind of a rock star. So being a middle of the pack B student, she and her mom, they were kind of nervous about going through the process, but she got admitted to a number of top business programs because of the impact project that she had done. So so excited. She chose University of Wisconsin. So super excited for her. And then here's Lexi. I want to just point these 2 out because of the merit dollars that they received. They're very different students. I mean, very different students in terms of where they are in their transcript. But nevertheless, the money is there, you guys. The money is definitely there. Okay. All right. So I always I'm like a teacher. What did you hear? What did you notice? What will you do? So maybe type into the chat if you have a question, or if you have something like, what are you getting from this? Like, what did you learn? Hopefully hope is like the biggest takeaway. I'm going to share with you the list of colleges, so not to worry. Okay. Okay, so let me stop share for a second. Okay. All right, go ahead and tell me sort of what's your takeaway so far, what question you might have, because I'm going to go in I'll share some colleges with you next. Yes, Melanie, go. Yes, there is a college for everyone. I promise you. There are actually it's just so many. We just don't, we got to just open up our eyes and kind of like just keep our ears peeled. And I'll give you some tips today. Yes. Hiking. Yes. The importance of co-curriculars. And it's not just like, oh, I'm involved. Like, really, in order to sort of balance out what we might see on the transcript, it's the leadership hierarchy chart. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not because you need to do that for any other reason other than you also just need to be an interesting applicant. Like, I can't tell you how many. Oh, that was weird. How did that happen? There we go. It's just when students choose to take their leadership to another level, they, like Sienna, the bead bag example I gave you earlier, I cannot tell you how many colleges wrote her a personal note about that essay. And that essay was it wasn't her main essay, it was a supplemental essay that she used. She too, she was a VIP client. I worked with her since sophomore year, but when she got to camp, that was one of her essays. Another one of her essays was the donuts at church that you get at the end of church. Oh, so cute. This is another one. I remember her essays. Okay. Importance of involvement. Okay. Awesome. You guys still good? You guys still good? Is this helpful? Right? I love StreamYard for a lot of reasons, and that we're being live in so many places, but I can't. It's different than Zoom. So just tell me. Yeah. Let me know. Give me a type the number 1 if like you're still with me. I'm going to pull this up here. Okay. I'm assuming you're with me. Okay, good. Thanks, Melanie. I'm always like, I need one student. Thank you. Okay. All right. Let me take you through this. I curated this list a few years ago, maybe not that long ago, but so let me share some colleges that I love or that we've seen work, and then I'll take some questions. I'll also share this PDF with you as well. I loaded it up just before here. So Stephanie, you don't have that link because I just did it. So here are some California colleges. So Chapman University. So let me also say something. If you're here, you're in tune with what's going on possibly. And so there were a number of things that have happened this year where a lot of the flagship public schools received many, many more applications than they had in the past. So applications are going up at flagship institutions, public flagships. So I believe one of the trends, and I'll be talking about this, and Stephanie might tell you which date I'll be talking about, sort of what I believe the next coming trends are. So some of these colleges on here are sort of next in line, in my opinion, to be sort of the hot ticket. So I don't have a crystal ball, but there you go. Chapman University is one of my faves for sure. Maybe because it has a great football field that you can see through the glass and in the STEM building. Like you can be inside the STEM building doing your homework, watching a football game. Like that's a dream to me. And it's really cute. The city of Orange is great. And you can see the fireworks from Disneyland from the campus. Santa Clara University, love the Spanish style. University of San Francisco, love the people there. People who work in that office, they're just all great. That's one of the schools where Diego scheduled a meet and greet. Like just getting used to, for my B students, I'm always like, okay, just get used to the process. Like go talk to somebody and talk to somebody with like low stakes. Like, you're not, if you if you bomb the interview, he wasn't going to, feel too bad. But he just wanted the experience. So he did that first. Cal Lutheran, I hear such great things about it. One of my principal friends, she's principal at Notre Dame High School. Her son attends Cal Lu, and she says he just fell in love because the people were so great. So great place. Private out of state, University of Denver. I've been there. Beautiful. It's just lovely. Great place to look. Hofstra, if you want to be near New York, but you're not going to be admissible to NYU or Columbia, which, oh my gosh, these days, who is? So Hofstra is another little place. I know the folks there in the admission office, so do check it out. It's on Long Island. Marist College. Oh, it is on here. I mentioned it earlier. It's on the Hudson River. St. Louis University. One of my faves. Why? Because it's got a great campus. It's in a great city. I think St. Louis is overlooked sometimes. Also has the most statues of any campus, according to them. And it's got some great majors, including the engineering, including business. It's a university. It will have everything that you want and need in a university, but in a smaller setting, in a smaller city, town. It's not like New York City. So I really like that for a lot of reasons. Seton Hall. I'm a sports fan, so it's got some history with their basketball team and some. It's a 20-minute train ride to New York City, so it might even be closer than Hofstra is, even though it's in New Jersey. They too offer some cool, Stephanie, it's Nikki, right? Who was admitted. They've got a lot of great international programs and majors there. So love it for that. I've been to the campus. I've been to probably 300 campuses. So that's one. These are many that I remember. Marquette University in Wisconsin, super cold, but I did it. I visited years ago when I was on what they call the COWS tour, counselors observing Wisconsin schools. That's really literally what it was. Probably I remember most the University of Wisconsin, but this is probably a close second. Marquette University. It's got some cool stuff, and it's also on the water. Okay, let's see. Gonzaga. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to call her my niece. She's not really my niece, but like one of our close family friends' daughter went to Gonzaga, loved it. Also great, for sports. So it's Gonzaga, where it's located. I forget the city it's located. It's not like in the city. It's not in Seattle. It's outside of there. So it's not necessarily got a lot going on around where it is, but the campus and the campus student life, I think they do a really good job. So I've also been to the campus. I've driven by and stopped and stuff, and it's a great place to check out for sure. Okay. Agnes Scott. This is an all women's college. One of my favorites in terms of the most beautiful colleges in the country. It's beautiful. Shocked. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. So if you want to look there, I'm guessing you get good scholarship dollars there. Clark University, Guilford. These are two on the colleges that change lives list, which let's see, Stephanie, if you can snag that. Colleges at ctcl.org, I want to say. You can pop that into the chat. Great list of colleges, lots to look at. Guilford College, I interviewed their college president years ago. She's no longer there. She was the first deaf person to be in a role of college president. She was great. Clark University. So colleges, almost all of them, I would just highly recommend. Kalamazoo, there's the zoo. Lawrence University. So Lawrence University, if you they've got a music conservatory on the campus as well. So he described, I interviewed their VP for enrollment on my podcast, and he really talked about, these are students who like want to major in biology, but like want to stay connected to their music. So I really love that. University of Nebraska, one of our students graduated from there. University of Miami of Ohio. I lived in Oxford while I wrote my first book, which is where University of Miami is located. Love this. And I will tell you, parents, whatever price tag you sign on like freshman year, whatever the price is for tuition, that is the price that stays with you for 4 years. Yes. Hola. Can I get an amen? Oh my gosh. So I try to get there once a year with one of my best friends of all time, but my best friend from Columbia is the vice president there for student life, not for admissions, but for student life. So I've spent a lot of time there. Love it. University of Pittsburgh. Oh my gosh, forgot about this. And then Oregon State. I've been to both campuses. They're beautiful. The University of Pittsburgh has the Cathedral of Learning. It's to die, you guys, and has so many great programs. Please look there. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so good. Rutgers, you hear me talk about Bonnie. That's where she went. Lots of great majors. It's a public institution, etc. University of Cincinnati. Okay, who can tell me who Taylor Swift's boyfriend is? Type it into the chat. This is where he went to school and played football. So University of Cincinnati, that's not why I'm suggesting it, by the way. But I was surprised to learn when I was doing some research on the Super Bowl, because I'm a football fan and sports fan. I was like, oh my gosh, no way. This University of Cincinnati is literally one of my favorite little schools. I went to visit while I lived in Ohio, and it's got a great design program. It's got great architecture in terms of the landscape, and it's got one of the, if not the oldest internship programs in the country, even older than Northeastern, you guys. So lots of good stuff there. And then Colorado Boulder, I mean, what's not to love? I mean, you just go to the campus and it's breathtaking. The landscape, the views. I mean, it's just to die. But it's risen in the ranks, and of course, their football coach Deion Sanders, really brought it into the light. So that's quickly becoming a school that's super super popular, and it's just going to get more popular. Same with Indiana University. So these two, I believe, are really the next big flagships that will rise in the ranks. So this year we saw UT Austin, UNC, University of Michigan continue to go up in their applications. I think UT is over 100,000, and oh gosh, there's a number of colleges this year that have joined the ranks of the 100,000 club. So before it was just the University of California schools, and now it's many others. So anyway, that's the list. I'm going to give that to you here. I'm going to, because I just, Kelsey. Hey, Teresa. Yes, that's right. Travis Kelsey. So he went to, now you can tell everybody, you have a little piece of I love college when I get little golden nuggets like that. And then you're like, oh, you can drop them into a conversation. So let me see. What did I call it? B plus colleges. B plus list. What did I call it? I can't get it. Here, let me give you. Yeah, B plus colleges. Okay. Here, I'll put this into the chat. Okay, awesome. All right, so you have to kind of copy and paste that. I don't know how to make it easier. Okay, that was dumb. Well, anyway, I thought it would be easy if I could just give you the PDF that I just showed you. So hopefully that was helpful. Okay, I'm happy to answer any questions you have, whether it's about this presentation, about B+, about our summer programs, our programs that we're running now. How can I be of service to you? What do you need to know so that your child is set up for success, you guys? There we go. Okay, I wanted to show that. There we go. Okay. All right. How can I be helpful? What are your questions? And they can be specific. It's okay. We're all in the family here. We are running the reason I put this appointment here is because if you are serious about maybe getting some help, whether joining our bootcamp courses and or joining us, working with us privately, please make an appointment. You'll see there's an appointment for a strategy call, free complimentary strategy call for 45 minutes or a 10-minute. If you have a quick question, I'm happy to answer. Okay, let's see. Hard time starting her essay. Do you have any pointers? Yes. So Stacy, first of all, she's not alone. This is like the point of contention for everybody. Like, where do I go? Where do I begin? And so I would just say that I have some videos that are coming out soon, but you can find a bunch of stuff on my podcast. But here's the bottom line. Keep in mind, the essay is not about accomplishments or accolades. It is not like a regurgitation of your resume. It is really all about personality. So Stephanie, if you can pop in the chat the 10 sample essays, she'll give you the 10 sample essay packet that you can download for free. And it's, all of you will see it. So it's the most unconventional. It's sometimes the most unconventional. So I'll give you a quick example. And that is in the 10 sample packet, you'll see there's a essay called the Taco Bell essay. Okay, it's called the Taco Bell essay, but what does that mean? It means that this student drafted about 4 or 5 drafts, and he was trying to write. He's biracial student. He was writing about Sunday dinner and, going sometimes to his Chinese grandmother's home, having that, and it just wasn't working. It was kind of falling flat, falling flat. And then one day, fourth paragraph in, he's still drafting and drafting. Fourth paragraph in, he starts out with a scene from Taco Bell, like Taco Bell, the strangest menu in all of the fast food kingdom, something crazy like that. Something is like his opening line. And I was like, oh my God, that is gold. So basically the essay ends up becoming about how every Sunday he gets to pick the menu for Sunday dinner. And he always chooses a fast food. He chooses something different. And that's his obsession. He's obsessed with fast food. And sometimes it's, Panera, sometimes it's Taco Bell, sometimes it's whatever it was. But the essay is not really about fast food. It's really about the lovely connection with his family. So the family's kind of the background, and he becomes the main actor in the story. So that's just like one example of it just takes drafts. And I think there's students procrastinate because procrastination is just another word for I don't know how to get started. I don't know what to do. And so we talk about on our first day of camp, we're like, okay, today is all about writing your first crappy drafts. You're going to write 6 crappy drafts in the next, 60 minutes. We set the timer, and we give instructions, of course, but we set the timer for 7 minutes so that they just don't spend too much time writing, and it doesn't work anyway. So I hope that's helpful. Does that help you a little bit? Okay. What are your thoughts on dual enrollment, taking community college as well in high school? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So this was true a lot in Florida when I recruited in Florida. So a couple things. First thing is my dog Elvis is about to try and jump a little bit too high, and I'm looking at him. The first thing is you should always take advantage first of what's available at your campus. That's the first thing. So if there are lots of honors and APs offered, then you take advantage of that. If, however, they don't offer very many or it's limited, then yes, by all means. So that's true for a lot of schools. And so dual enrollment is definitely a way to beef up the academic portion of your application, right? So there's AQs, academic qualities, and there's PQs, the personal qualities. Don't get me wrong, the AQs are the most important to get your foot in the door, right? So that's always going to be step one. But often when we're talking about, being a solid B plus student, if you're at the end of your junior year, if you're in second semester junior year, there's not a whole lot you can do about your GPA anymore. If you are lucky enough to be here and you're like you have a freshman or a sophomore, then keep that, then you have some time. Remember, you guys, you're going to graduate, your kid is going to graduate with 8 semesters of grades, but apply to college with 6 semesters of GPA. So if you're a sophomore, you're halfway done with the GPA. And this semester is semester 4 of 6. If you're a junior, you're in semester 6 of 6. So you can't rely on the grades that you'll get. The grades will matter later for senior year, but that is not going to matter. It's not going to count in towards your GPA for admission. Okay. Also, her number 1 school is Marist. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that. I love Marist. Okay, good. All right. So we've got the 10 sample packet of essays. It's there. Fantastic. Okay. What else can I talk to you about? I'm an open book, you guys. In the previous question, the dual enrollment. Yeah, Natalie, go ahead. She must be typing something right now. One of the things that maybe will help all of you is that, so I went through our success formula, our IV success formula. Step 1, really taking inventory of the leadership hierarchy and really where they fall and where they need to be or what they can do between now and applying. But number 2 is the signature core 4 essays. Who am I? What am I good at? What's something cool about me and why this major. If you do nothing else, tattoo that to your brain, because at the end of the day, your application, your child's application boils down to about 4 sentences. So if you can, that's why we call them the signature core 4, because those answers will become sort of the thing that should ring true to a reader when they walk away. I would read 25 applications per day. I'm a slow reader, and I might remember 1 or 2 at the end of the day. So by the end of the week, you'd think, oh, I remembered, 10. No, by the end of the week, I remembered 3. Okay. But what I would remember about an application was really like, oh, that kid from Oakland who started a nonprofit, for the city of Oakland, recruiting volunteers, buys and sells everything on eBay, and is Steph Curry's #1 fan. That's literally all I would remember. Okay. So think about that. Okay. So let's see. Let's go up here. What about taking a leadership class at a local college, Villanova, for juniors for summer? So the summer programs, well, first of all, I'm a big fan of summer programs, especially those that you have to apply to for a reason that you won't expect me to say. But I love a good application before getting to senior year, because you'll know if it works or not, right? Like I've had a student before. He wasn't my student, but I had a family that came to me and was like, our son got denied at 10 summer programs. And I was like, okay, that's a sign that whatever he put in that application is not working, right? And he was a fantastic, like, should be a great applicant. So my advice right there was like, okay, just use that as evidence that the story he told, or whatever, however he presented himself, didn't work. So I love a good application. So if there's still time for you to submit an application, it's a good thing to do. The second reason is you get to campus, you find out what you love, what you don't love about a campus, about a particular program, about a particular major. All of those things are good things. Now, if people ask me, well, does it help their chances if I go to a program that's at Harvard or at Villanova or wherever? Just keep in mind, there are a number of programs that are run by the institution, the actual institution, and there are a number of programs that are run by outside organizations that rent space from the institution. So that's just different. Okay. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, summer programs are always great. Unless you are working on your impact project, like unless you are doing something else, like Caroline, I know that your son was interested in like boxing and like stuff like that. We've talked a little bit, if I'm remembering correctly. So another way of spending summer is like to really work on some cool level 4, level 5 project. Okay. I was told that my juniors should be dual enrolled now with 1 class and take 2 in the summer. All her classes are honors and a handful of apps. Was to get the grade point average above. Okay. So Natalie, I don't, without knowing everything about your situation and where, where your daughter goes to college, goes to high school. I am not a fan of using the summer for more academics, especially like literally like the literal version of like taking more class, like school classes. I'm a huge fan because that's what they do all year long. So as long as she's getting what she needs, and advancing herself, in the school year, maybe take 1 other class, but like, I just, that's just so much school. So, and people think, oh, if I just get this GPA, and I'm like, yeah, but everyone in that pool, wherever you apply, they're all going to have a 3.5. They're all going to have a 4.0. They're all going to have a 4. Whatever pool you're applying to, that's not ultimately grades are going to get you to be looked at and have a chance, but that's not ultimately what's going to get you admitted. So I'm not just a general blanket statement. I'm not a huge fan of like, what should we do this summer? Oh, take 3 more, academic courses. One reason I do say to take it, like, let's say you're trying to get to AP calculus by the time you're a senior, you can't do that if you start with algebra 1. So sometimes I'll tell my private clients, well, you're going to need to, at some point, you're going to need to offset that so you can get, to that place. So, so I hope that's helpful. You're welcome to set up a call though. How does a B student qualify for scholarship money? Oh, this is a great question, KJ. Thank you for asking. So the students that you see that we showed, many of them, if not most of them, just apply to their colleges, and because they stand out in terms of their application, their essays, etc., they usually get called out and invited, or they just get merit dollars. Some that are more pointed, the best thing to do. I don't know. You might want to tell me what grade level, what year, if they are 20, if your son or daughter is 26 or 27 or 28. The reason I say that is because one of my go-to people with for scholarship is the scholarship system. Her name is Jocelyn. I also interviewed her, um, and she talks a lot about starting the process early, meaning getting to see which colleges you might be interested in and which colleges offer merit dollars just purely on GPA and test scores. And so by knowing that ahead of time, you can save yourself a lot of money because, it's a good incentive for your son or daughter to like, hit that 3.3. If like, like UNLV is one that comes to my mind. There are a number of colleges that give you just merit dollars, just purely based on your high school GPA and test score. Now you have to make sure you calculate it correctly and all of that. But so just knowing, doing the research early rather than late, right? This is what I preach all the time. I wish I would have started my college application process later, said no one ever, right? So the more you know, the better you'll be. And then the other part of that is just obviously applying for, literally applying to scholarship. And Jocelyn, her philosophy, it's called the scholarship system is her website. Her philosophy is that apply to scholarships that require essays and require, other elements that you have to turn in, because most teenagers don't want to do that extra work. So they don't apply. So they all apply to like the ones that are just like free. And she's like, those are like sweepstakes. It's like trying to win the lotto. But when you apply, I agree. Her philosophy is, if it takes you an hour to fill out an application and write the essay and turn it in, or use one of the essays you wrote in essay camp, and you get $500, when's the last time a 17-year-old made $500 an hour? Like never. So, well, I guess if you're on TikTok Shop or something, making money, but you see what I'm saying? So yes, I had a friend who paid his daughters in their senior year, instead of getting a job at a fast food, he paid them minimum wage to solely apply to scholarships. And he got huge return on investment. He said, I think one, he might've paid $200 and one $300, and I don't know, each of them got like $6,000, one like $10,000. So yeah, there's an incentive. There's an idea. Okay. Does taking a summer city college help you stand out because you can handle the college? So community college, city college is like the same as taking an AP class. So yes, it counts like it's like a higher level, right? And also because, you're packing once in one semester, you're packing what would normally be a whole year class. So yeah. Again, you guys, all of the academic stuff, you have to, you do what you need to do to beef up the academics, because that is like the number one key thing. And then on top of that, you want to be really mindful that the leadership or the activities or anything that you're doing outside of the classroom, in my opinion, should tie together with back to your major. If you can do that, if you can tie all those things together, now you're developing a strategic application and not just an application strategy. So that's our philosophy, is all about what is the strategic application going to look like. So all pieces work together, if that makes sense. 2026. Okay. Yeah. Lots plenty to do, but I would hop on it, KJ. Okay. Maybe another couple questions. While I have your attention right now, just if you guys don't mind, so we did this presentation, I want to say in the fall, Caroline will tell you. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how helpful was, today's presentation? And I don't ask like, I'm not going to take it personal at all. We want to just make sure we improve, because we'll repeat this presentation again in several weeks. But I think it's important, but I just want to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how helpful was this presentation? So go ahead and just let us know, give us your feedback so we know. Okay. And I don't know where you guys are in the world, but it's literally freezing here in Southern California, which it's usually not. Literally cold. Okay, good. Good. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay. Melanie, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Melanie, and if you have any other thoughts as to like what else you were looking for, that would be helpful. So, and then hopefully some of you downloaded the list of schools so that you can see those schools. Again, colleges that change lives, some of my favorites are there. So, yeah. And congratulations, Carol Ann. Carol Ann just signed up. She's our latest. And then we've got, I think, 2 that are going to sign up for our VIP slots today or tomorrow. So, yeah. Our cohort is growing. Just know that we run 5 boot camps in the summertime. We typically reserve those to about 24, 26 students, something like that. So if you're looking to figure out what your plans are for the summer, you want to learn more, please do sign up for schedule an appointment. So drcynthiacolon.com/schedule. Is that what I have here? Yep. There you go. Yeah. Okay, good. Awesome. Melanie, where are you from? Let's see. KJ. I don't remember where everybody's from. Lovely to meet you all. Lovely, lovely. Is there anyone that there is your first time joining us? Welcome to the family. Please let me know if this is your first time joining us. Maine. Oh my gosh, you're like Kinsey from like Rhode Island. I love that. And there's some great colleges there. Bates, Bowdoin, Colby. Been to all those schools in Maine. Love, love. Good for you, Melanie. Okay. All right. Here, I'll stick here for just another few minutes if you have other questions. But yeah, you guys, this has been a wonderful, wonderful ride. We continue to meet so many people from across the country. You know, we've been Zooming since before Zooming was a verb. We were attracting students from Colorado and Texas even before 2020. So we've been doing this for a long time. So people often ask, like, well, you know, well, first of all, you can come live. You can there's some people that join us and fly in to California. I keep saying we're very likely to run a New York session in August because we have so many private clients in New York. So we'll do one there. But yeah, you know, Zoom, you'd be surprised. It works when students are talking about themselves for 5 days and not necessarily doing school. It's amazing what happens in a room full of people who are ambitious and all trying to get the same thing done. So how do I keep my, oh my gosh, Melanie. Okay. We should talk. Claudia Marroquin. She's the dean there. She's from Los Angeles. I've interviewed her on my podcast. You should definitely find the podcast. Yeah, you should definitely find the podcast. Stephanie, if you might search Bowdoin, Bowdin, or Claudia. Anyway, we should definitely talk, Melanie. Oh my gosh, dream. How to keep my junior motivated for the rest of this important year. Well, okay. Melanie, sometimes all it takes is, we didn't talk today about the school profile. That's another thing I always talk about. So first of all, you definitely need to get a copy of your high school profile. You would Google the name of your high school, like Palo Alto High School, plus the words school profile. You need to know what that PDF is. If you don't find it, ask the counselor for it. And then on there, it should tell you the GPA distribution. So once you know what the GPA distribution, you'd find your son's GPA and like figure out where they are in the class. So if he's in the top 1-2%, you know, yay. But if you clearly, you know, you just show him like, this is where you are. So, you know, that's pretty much, that's all you need. You don't need to say anything. You just say, here, take a look. This is the GPA distribution. So if you find your GPA in that distribution, that's where you fall in the class. I would just leave it at that. So the other thing is, I would just say, like, it's just a little bit of a shameless plug for the programs that we run. So, if you are familiar at all with what we do, I think differently, and maybe not, that's what I'm going to share. We believe in the combination of group coaching and one-on-one coaching. Okay, so the college boot camps in the summer, yes, every student is assigned to their coach for the week, but it's in a group setting as well. But right now, we've already started working with our new cohort, and we just keep adding as people add, because students think, oh, I'm the big dog at my school, or I'm the best, or whatever they think, or if your child has only ever been comparing himself or herself to their peers at their school, it's just, I think it does them a disservice because they don't have a bigger sense of like all the other students. So this Sunday is our next group coaching class. To anybody who signs up between now and Sunday, Stephanie gets you onboarded and gets you connected. Well, now you see, like, these are students from New York. Where do we have our students? New York, Florida, Connecticut, New Jersey, Northern, Southern California. They're from all over, and you hear what they're working on. Like, you hear the projects that they're working on. Their level 4 projects, and that is, in my opinion, what keeps kids motivated. Like, it's not the adults. It's like seeing other peers my same age that are doing more than I am, and you're like, oh. So I use this example, Orange Theory. I don't know if you're familiar with Orange Theory. It's a fitness thing. And so when I'm at Orange Theory and I'm on the treadmill and someone next to me is like going faster than me, I kind of like, I'm competitive. So I'm like kind of peeking like, oh, they're running at a higher level than I'm like, I better speed up. So it's human nature to do more when you surround yourself with people who are also doing more. So, right, we are the average of the 5 people we keep closest. So that's why I'm a huge fan, and I have believed in the group coaching for a very long time. So I know, the gold standard is one-on-one tutoring. And, obviously I offer some of that to my VIP clients, but I think the gold is really in the room. That's what I believe. Oh, wow, you found it. Oh, man, amazing. Thanks, Stephanie. Okay, I'm going to wrap up just because my team here, Stephanie she's 2 hours ahead and probably has to get to dinner or something. And I've got to walk Elvis, but it was lovely to meet all of you and see you. Some of you here for several times. Lovely, lovely. Carol Ann, Stephanie will be in touch. We'll get him onboarded, and we'll see you. We'll see. You're both welcome, but we'll see one of you on Sunday. Okay. All right, everyone. Remember, be committed, get admitted, and wherever you are, go make it a happy and sunny day. All right. Bye for now. You're welcome. Bye, guys. Melanie, make an appointment. All of you, make an appointment. Let's chat.